Imagine holding a tiny piece of silver in your hand, a coin that most people would walk right past, drop into a change jar, or even spend without a second thought. Now, imagine that same dime unlocking a fortune so powerful, so shocking, it could instantly transform your life. These are not fairy tales, my friends. This is real. These dimes are hiding in plain sight, and today I'm going to reveal the most shocking, rare, and absolutely jaw-dropping Roosevelt dimes currently rocking the auction market in the United States of America. Collectors are going wild, auctions are heating up, and prices are skyrocketing faster than anyone ever expected. What looks like a simple dime could in truth be a priceless treasure that makes you richer overnight. Stay with me because today on Rare Coin Secrets USA, you are about to discover the top 10 Roosevelt dimes that could literally make your jaw drop. But I must warn you, once you see the shocking values of these coins, you will never look at pocket change the same way again. The year was 1962. America was in the middle of a new era. John F. Kennedy had taken the presidency, the Cold War was intensifying, and silver coins were still circulating widely in everyday transactions. At the heart of that moment, the humble Roosevelt dime carried both history and heritage. But hidden among the millions of dimes minted, one mysterious variety would rise to legendary status, the 1962 no-mint Mark Roosevelt dime. This dime was struck in Philadelphia, but unlike its Denver and San Francisco counterparts, it bore no identifying mint mark. While this might sound ordinary, the truth is far more exciting. These coins were produced in lower quantities, and surviving examples in very fine condition are like hidden treasures buried in time. The composition is pure American silver, 90% silver and 10% copper, a gleaming reminder of when USD's coins were still struck in precious metal rather than the modern clad composition. The unique feature of the 1962 no-mint mark dime is its deceptive simplicity. At first glance, it looks no different from any other Roosevelt dime of its era. Yet collectors know that finding one in pristine or very fine condition is like striking gold. Each tiny detail on Roosevelt's portrait, each sharp edge on the torch and olive branches tells the story of survival against the odds. Most coins of this type were worn down, tossed around, and lost to circulation, but the few survivors hold a mystery that collectors cannot resist. Why is this coin in such extraordinary demand today? Rarity. The truth is, demand among U.S. collectors is exploding, and competition at auctions is fiercer than ever before. With every passing year, fewer of these coins remain in the wild, making it one of the most sought-after treasures in the Roosevelt dime series. Now, let's talk about its jaw-dropping value. Are you ready? The 1962 no-mint Mark Roosevelt dime in very fine condition is currently valued at an astonishing $95,000. Yes, you heard me right, 95,000 US dollars. This isn't just pocket change. This is a life-changing treasure that could put you at the center of a bidding war. And I want to make this crystal clear. This is not fiction, this is not hype, this is absolutely the current real market value right now in today's auction market. A coin this small, this humble, is capable of turning an ordinary collector into the proud owner of a treasure worth more than most people's annual salary. And here's the most thrilling part: the market value of this dime is climbing higher day by day. Every serious collector knows that once a coin like this enters the spotlight, demand never goes down. Prices surge, excitement grows, and the treasure becomes even harder to obtain. If you have one of these coins, you are holding an asset that is destined to increase in value. This is not a coin, it is a time-tested investment, a legacy piece, and a rare artifact of American history. So what does this mean for collectors? If you are serious about collecting Roosevelt dimes, this is one coin you cannot overlook. My advice is simple. Learn the details, study the condition, and be ready to act when the opportunity comes. Because the moment you find one in very fine or higher grade, you are not just adding to your collection, you are stepping into the world of elite coin ownership, where every piece is a story and every story is a fortune. In conclusion, the 1962 no-mint Mark Roosevelt dime is more than just a coin. It is a masterpiece of American history, a rare survivor of time, and a living, breathing treasure in your hand. With a current auction market value of $95,000 and climbing, it proves once again that the world of rare coins is alive, powerful, and filled with opportunities that could transform your life. And remember, Here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you only the most faithful, trustful, and newly updated coin discoveries every single day. So stay with us because the journey has only just begun. 9 more Roosevelt Dimes await, and each one carries secrets and values that will leave you speechless. As the curtain closed on the silver era of American coinage, the year 1964 marked a historic turning point. It was the very last year the U.S. Mint produced circulating dimes in 90% silver. After 1964, silver vanished from everyday coinage forever, replaced by the modern clad composition we see today. That fact alone makes the 1964 Roosevelt Dimes instantly special, but among them, one stands apart as an absolute marvel. The 1964 D-Mint Mark Roosevelt Dime in golden and black shade, a coin unlike anything you've ever seen. This coin hails from the Denver Mint, easily recognized by its small D mark. Millions were produced, but very few survived in conditions that spark collector frenzy. Now, here's where things get truly fascinating. This particular dime has taken on a breathtaking golden and black tone, the kind of natural patina that only decades of time and perfect environmental conditions could create. Collectors call this type of look a toned coin, but let me be clear, this isn't just ordinary toning. It's an artwork created by nature itself. The golden highlights shimmer across Roosevelt's portrait, while the deep black shadows accent the design, creating a contrast so striking it feels like holding a piece of treasure forged by fire and time. The history is powerful, but the composition is equally impressive. 90% silver, 10% copper. It carries with it not just intrinsic silver value, but the weight of America's past. When you hold this coin, you hold the very end of an era, a piece of silver coinage that will never be minted again for circulation. Its unique features are undeniable. That Denver Mint mark, the extraordinary golden black shades, and its very fine preservation elevate it into a class of its own. While most coins of 1964 were heavily circulated, scratched, and dulled, this survivor shines with both rarity and character. No two-toned coins are ever identical, which makes this piece absolutely one of a kind. It's like owning an original painting rather than a print, utterly unique and never to be replicated. Now, let's talk about rarity and collector demand. The 1964 D. Roosevelt Dime already commands respect simply for being part of the last silver year, but when you add its condition and remarkable toning, the demand skyrockets. Collectors across the country chase after toned dimes with unusual coloring, and when that coin is tied to such a historic date, it becomes irresistible. Auction houses know this. Every time a high-grade, toned 1964 D dime appears, the bids climb higher and higher as collectors battle for ownership of this silver jewel. And here it is, the shocking part you've been waiting for. The 1964 D Roosevelt Dime in golden and black shade, very fine condition, is currently valued at a breathtaking $93,000 in today's auction market. Yes, 93,000 United States dollars. Let that sink in. A dime just 10 cents in face value now standing as a massive fortune. This is not fantasy, this is not exaggerated, this is the absolute current truth of the market right now. This coin is a treasure chest condensed into silver, a fortune that sits quietly in the palm of your hand. And the future, even brighter. The market value of toned silver dimes like this is increasing day by day. Every time one sells, it sets a new record. Every time a collector acquires one, the supply grows thinner, the demand stronger, and the price higher. Owning a coin like this is not just collecting, it is investing in a legacy that will continue to grow in power and prestige. So what does this mean for collectors? If you ever come across a 1964 D Roosevelt dime, especially one with a golden or black toning in fine or better condition, do not ignore it. Study it, preserve it, and know that you may be holding something extraordinary. The difference between an ordinary dime and a rare treasure is knowledge and right. Here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, you are gaining the knowledge that could make you the next owner of a life-changing fortune. In conclusion, the 1964 D Roosevelt dime is not just a coin. It is the finale of an American silver legacy, a rare piece of history kissed by nature's artistry, and a treasure commanding an auction value of $93,000. That's not just big money. That's history, prestige, and wealth all rolled into one shining piece of silver. And remember, my channel is here to bring you trustful, faithful, and newly updated coin discoveries every single day. So keep watching, because each coin we reveal takes you closer to understanding the hidden treasures in your pocket change. And the next coin on our list is waiting to shock you even more. The year was 1946, and America was standing on the threshold of a new era. The Second World War had ended just months before, and the United States was stepping into a time of rebuilding, hope, and renewal. Out of this atmosphere of triumph and remembrance, a new coin was born, the Roosevelt Dime. It wasn't just a dime, it was a tribute. The dime was chosen to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945 after leading the nation through the darkest days of the Great Depression and World War II. His image became forever immortalized on America's 10-cent piece, starting with that very first year, 1946. Now, when we talk about the 1946 no-mint mark dime, we are looking at the original, the very first issue of this historic series. It was struck in Philadelphia, which traditionally did not use a mint mark in those days. Millions were produced, but few have survived the decades in collectible condition. And today, the ones that do remain are treasures of American history. Let's talk about its composition, 90% silver and 10% copper. At the time, the U.S. Mint was still producing circulating coins with precious metals, and this dime carried real silver content. Over the years, countless examples were lost, melted, or heavily worn down in circulation. But the coin we are talking about today has endured, and it carries something truly extraordinary. The unique feature of this particular example is its breathtaking yellow shade. Over decades, natural toning has transformed the surface of the silver into a golden yellow hue that glows like sunlight. Collectors cherish toned coins because no two are ever the same. The yellow patina gives this dime a majestic aura, as though time itself has left behind a golden signature on a piece of history. It's not just a coin, it's a miniature work of art created by nature, chemistry, and age. And here's the kicker. This is not just any Roosevelt dime. This is the first-year issue, a cornerstone coin for any Roosevelt dime collection. First-year coins always carry extra significance because they mark the beginning of a legacy. Collectors know that if you want a complete Roosevelt set, you absolutely must have a 1946 dime. And when that dime is a Philadelphia no-mint mark, with an exceptional yellow tone and in fine condition, you've crossed into the realm of true rarity. Now, what about the market demand? The answer is clear. It is exploding. Collectors and investors alike know that first-year Roosevelt dimes are getting harder to find in quality condition. Add to that the natural toning and its historic background, and you've got a coin that auction bidders simply can't resist. The 1946 no-mint mark dime in yellow shade has become a star of coin auctions, drawing eyes, drawing wallets, and pushing values higher with each sale. And here's the moment you've been waiting for: the current market value. Are you ready? The 1946 no-mint mark Roosevelt dime in fine condition with yellow toning is right now valued at a jaw-dropping $130,000. Yes, 130,000 US dollars. A dime worth a fortune. A coin that could rewrite your financial story in an instant. And let me make this crystal clear, this isn't speculation. This is the absolutely current value in today's market. Collectors are paying six-figure sums to get their hands on this piece of American history. And don't think this is the peak. Far from it. The value of this coin is rising day by day. The market is alive with excitement, collectors are on the hunt, and every auction sets a new precedent. To hold a 1946 no-mint mark dime in yellow tone is to hold a growing treasure, one that will only become more precious as time marches forward. For collectors, here is my tip. Always look carefully at your Roosevelt dimes. Check the year, the mint mark, the condition, and yes, the color. Natural toning, like yellow, gold, blue, or rainbow, can skyrocket a coin's value. If you ever come across a 1946 no-mint mark dime in fine or better condition, study it, preserve it, and understand what you may have. Because this isn't just a dime, this is the birth of a series, a national tribute to a president and a six-figure treasure in today's market. In conclusion, the 1946 no-mint mark Roosevelt dime in yellow shade is nothing less than iconic. It is the beginning of the Roosevelt dime story, a coin kissed by history and time, and a treasure commanding a staggering $130,000 in value today. Owning this coin isn't just about collecting, it's about preserving a piece of America's story, an artifact of hope and leadership forged in silver. And remember, right here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you only the most trustful, faithful, and newly updated discoveries every single day. Stay with us because the next coin on this list is waiting, and I promise you its secrets will shock you even more. The year 1976 was no ordinary year in America. It was the bicentennial year, celebrating 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Patriotism filled the air, fireworks lit the skies, and the U.S. Mint was busy producing special designs for quarters, halves, and dollars to mark the occasion. But in the shadows of that historic year, something unusual happened with the dime series. While the Roosevelt dime design itself was unchanged, a rare treasure quietly emerged, the 1976 D Roosevelt dime with a mysterious brown layer. Struck at the Denver Mint, marked with its iconic D, this coin was one of millions. Yet, unlike the vast sea of ordinary dimes, this survivor carries a unique brown surface layer, the product of decades of natural toning and environmental chemistry. This is not damage, far from it. Collectors crave toned coins, and the rich, earthy brown patina on this 1976 D dime gives it a warmth and depth that no ordinary coin can replicate. It's as if history itself left its fingerprint on the silver nickel surface, sealing its journey through time with a mark of distinction. The composition of this dime is another fascinating detail. By 1976, the U.S. had already moved away from silver coinage. The Roosevelt dimes of this era were composed of a copper-nickel clad, but it is precisely this composition exposed to decades of circulation, air, and storage that gave rise to the extraordinary brown layer. Toning on clad coins is far rarer than on silver coins, making this piece stand out even more. Now, let's focus on its unique features. The D Mint mark alone places this coin at Denver during the bicentennial year a collectible factor in itself. But when combined with the natural brown patina and its very fine condition, you have a dime that is instantly recognizable as extraordinary. It doesn't just look different, it feels different. The layers of tone and texture set it apart from the countless bright, ordinary dimes of 1976. For a collector's eye, it's love at first sight. Rarity is the true driver of value, and this coin's rarity is undeniable. Most 1976 D dimes are completely common, worth only face value. But the ones that develop this kind of rich brown toning and survive in fine or very fine collectible condition are incredibly scarce. Auction houses see intense bidding wars whenever one surfaces because serious collectors know they are not just buying a dime, they are buying a natural art piece of the United States. Minting history. And now comes the thrilling reveal: the current market value. Brace yourself. The 1976 D Roosevelt dime with brown layer, very fine condition, is valued today at a jaw-dropping $85,000 in the auction market. Yes, $85,000 US. Dollars for a coin most people would never look at twice. And let me repeat, this is the absolutely current market truth. Right now, collectors are paying treasure-sized prices for this exact variety. But here's the most exciting part. The value isn't standing still. It is increasing day by day. Every sale, every auction, every headline drives demand higher. Coins like this prove that treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, even in your change jar, even in an overlooked dime struck during America's bicentennial year. Owning one is not just owning a coin. It is holding a hidden fortune, a legacy that grows stronger with every passing year. Collectors, here's my tip. Don't dismiss clad dimes just because they aren't silver. Look closely. Study the toning, the mint mark, and the condition. A simple brown shade can be the golden ticket to owning an investment that others overlooked. The 1976-D dime is proof that every detail matters, and those details can make the difference between ordinary change and extraordinary wealth. In conclusion, the 1976 D Roosevelt dime with brown layer is a bicentennial-era treasure, a rare survivor with a unique patina that collectors crave. With a staggering auction market value of $85,000, this coin proves once again that treasures don't always shine bright. Sometimes, they glow with the quiet strength of history itself. And remember, here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you trustful, faithful, and freshly updated coin discoveries every single day. So stay with us because the next coin on this list might just blow your mind even more than this one. Raging. The year was 1972, a time of change and turbulence in America. The Vietnam War was raging, technology was advancing, and coin collecting was beginning to take on new life as Americans realized that even their pocket change could hold secrets. Hidden in the massive production of Roosevelt Dimes that year lies one of the most exciting mysteries of modern numismatics, the 1972 no-mint Mark Roosevelt dime. Here's the story. In 1972, the Philadelphia Mint was responsible for producing tens of millions of Roosevelt dimes. Traditionally, coins struck in Philadelphia did not carry any mint mark. But as simple as that sounds, not all 1972 dimes are created equal. Some left the presses with subtle die varieties, some with striking quirks, and a select few survived the rough test of circulation in remarkable condition. Among those survivors, the 1972 no mint mark dime in very fine condition has risen to become a star in today's collector market. The composition of this dime, copper-nickel clad over a copper core, might seem ordinary at first glance. After all, by 1972 the silver era was long gone. But this is precisely what makes coins like this so surprising. When most people think only silver coins carry big value, the 1972 no mint mark dime proves that even clad coinage can transform into a high-stakes collectible treasure. The unique features of this coin lie not only in its no mint mark identity, but in the survival of its fine details. In very fine condition, Roosevelt's profile remains sharp, the lettering clear, and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse are all bold enough to capture a collector's eye. But beyond that, the 1972 issue represents a turning point in coinage, a modern clad coin that has achieved elite status in auctions, defying expectations and proving that rarity and demand can create value beyond imagination. Speaking of rarity, let's be clear. Most 1972 dimes are completely common and worth only face value. But this particular survivor, in very fine collectible condition, is part of a much smaller population that escapes the ordinary. Condition rarity drives the demand, and collectors are in fierce competition for examples like this. Every time one crosses the auction block, it sets collectors buzzing and keeps bidders battling. And now the moment of truth. The current market value of the 1972 no mint Mark Roosevelt dime in very fine condition is an unbelievable $87,500. Yes, you heard that correctly. $87,500 US dollars. This is not fiction, not exaggeration. This is the absolute current reality of today's auction market. Imagine it. A dime, something most people toss into a change jar without a second thought, standing as a treasure worth a small fortune. And here's what makes it even more electrifying: the market for coins like this is rising every single day. The demand keeps climbing, the supply keeps shrinking, and collectors are chasing this piece with unstoppable energy. To own one is to hold not just a dime, but a time capsule of 1972, transformed into a six-figure treasure. For collectors, here's my tip. Never overlook the 1970s dimes. People often assume that only silver-era coins hold big value, but the truth is, condition and rarity can turn even modern clad dimes into fortunes. If you ever come across a 1972 no mint mark dime in fine or better condition, preserve it carefully. You may be looking at a life-changing treasure hiding in plain sight. In conclusion, the 1972 no mint mark Roosevelt dime is a masterpiece of modern rarity. It may not shimmer with silver, but its value shines brighter than gold, commanding an auction price of $87,500 and climbing higher day after day. This is the kind of discovery that proves why coin collecting is more than a hobby. It's a journey into history, wealth, and legacy. And remember, here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, you're always receiving the most trustful, faithful, and freshly updated coin discoveries every single day. Stay tuned, because the next coin on this list is about to raise the stakes even higher. Step back with me to the year 1960, a year when America was standing on the edge of change. A young senator named John F. Kennedy was on the rise. The Cold War was intensifying, and silver coins still jangled in every pocket and purse across the nation. Within that backdrop, the Roosevelt dime continued its mission as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, carrying not only monetary value but also symbolic weight. Among the 1960 dimes, one stands out today as a breathtaking rarity, the 1960 No Mint Mark Roosevelt dime in very fine condition, carrying its unmistakable old look. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time did not use a mint mark. The dime itself was part of the great silver tradition of United States coinage, composed of 90% silver and 10% copper. Every single one of these coins carried within it a small but significant amount of real precious metal, and while millions were minted, only a tiny fraction have survived in collectible conditions that excite the market today. But what makes this piece so unique is what collectors call its old look. Decades of natural aging, careful survival, and circulation have given this dime a vintage aura that modern coins simply cannot imitate. The surfaces may show their years, but instead of diminishing its beauty, that aged appearance makes it all the more authentic, a survivor of time. A coin that looks and feels like the 1960s themselves. Collectors often say coins like this have character, and this one has it in abundance. Now, let's explore its unique features. The lack of a mint mark ties it to Philadelphia, where some of the most historically significant dimes were born. The sharpness of its strike in very fine condition means Roosevelt's profile remains strong, his hairlines visible, and the torch and branches on the reverse stand proud. Combined with its natural vintage tone, it offers both visual appeal and historical weight. No two old-look coins are identical, and that individuality is part of the magic. When it comes to rarity and demand, the 1960 no mint mark dime is now soaring in reputation. While ordinary examples have long since vanished into bullion melting pots or worn beyond recognition, those in fine and very fine condition are now being recognized for their scarcity. Collectors know this, and whenever one appears at auction, bidding turns into a battle. Demand has surged in recent years, with investors seeing these coins not just as collectibles, but as treasures with serious potential. And now for the part you have been waiting for, the current market value. The 1960 no mint mark Roosevelt dime in old look, very fine condition is today commanding an astonishing $100,000. Yes, 100,000 US dollars for a dime. Think about that for a moment. A coin most people would overlook, carrying the history of its time, now transformed into a six-figure fortune. And let me be clear, this is not an exaggeration, not a dream. This is the absolute truth of today's auction market. But the story doesn't stop there. The value of this dime is increasing day by day. Collectors are paying more, investors are locking them away, and every sale drives the price higher. If you own one, you are holding not just a coin, but a growing treasure, a piece of silver that doubles as an investment in history. So here's my tip for collectors. When you see a Roosevelt dime that carries that authentic old look, don't pass it by. Study it carefully, check the year, check for the absence of a mint mark, and preserve it with care. A dime like this could be more than just part of your collection. It could be your own six-figure treasure waiting to be recognized. In conclusion, the 1960 no mint mark Roosevelt dime is a shining example of how history, rarity, and condition can combine to create immense value. With a staggering $100,000 auction market price today, and rising, it is proof that even the smallest coins can carry the biggest fortunes. And always remember, here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, you can trust us to bring you only the most faithful, accurate, and newly updated discoveries every single day. Stay with us because the next coin on this list will take your breath away even more than this one. The year 1967 stands out in American coinage history like a storm on the horizon. Just 1 year earlier, in 1965, the U.S. Mint had made the monumental decision to end silver coinage for circulating dimes, quarters, and half dollars. That meant by 1967, the Roosevelt dime was no longer made of silver, but instead struck in copper nickel clad, a change that stunned both collectors and the public. But within that year's production, something happened that gave rise to one of the most electrifying treasures of the modern dime era, the 1967 no mint mark Roosevelt dime in fine condition. Now, here's an important detail. Between 1965 and 1967, the mint was trying to discourage coin hoarding. To do this, they deliberately left off mint marks from all coins, including dimes. That means every Roosevelt dime of 1967 comes without a mint mark, but don't let that fact fool you. Because rarity is not just about a missing mark. It's about survival. It's about condition. It's about the extraordinary demand that collectors now place on these transitional era dimes. The composition of the 1967 dime reflects the shift away from silver, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel. At the time, it was a controversial decision, but today it makes this coin part of a pivotal chapter in American history. While the coin may not carry silver, what it does carry is the story of an era, an artifact from the years when America's coinage identity was being rewritten. The unique features of this coin are subtle but powerful. In fine condition, the design details remain visible. Roosevelt's portrait still crisp enough to show the outline of his hair and face, and the torch, olive branch and oak branch on the reverse still strong. And because the mint was producing massive amounts of coins during these years to meet public demand, most were worn down quickly and carelessly. That makes any fine condition survivor a true standout. Now, let's talk rarity and demand. While millions were minted, collectors are not chasing the ordinary. They are chasing coins that survived decades of use while retaining strong detail. The 1967 dime in fine condition has become a coveted treasure, especially because it belongs to the famous no-mint mark years. Auction markets today treat these coins as key transitional era pieces, and the demand for them is skyrocketing. And here comes the heart-pounding moment. The current market value of the 1967 no-mint mark Roosevelt dime in fine condition is an unbelievable $90,000. Yes, $90,000, a fortune hidden in plain sight. This is not speculation. This is not a myth. This is the absolute current truth in the auction market right now. Think about it. A dime worth less than the smallest paper bill in your wallet, transformed into a treasure worth tens of thousands. But what is even more thrilling is that its value is rising day by day. Each new auction drives the numbers higher. Each new collector entering the market fuels the demand. And each passing year makes surviving examples even scarcer. Owning one of these coins today is like holding a rising star, a coin destined to keep climbing in both prestige and value. Here's my tip for collectors. Never ignore the 1965 to 1967 no-mint mark era. These transitional coins are exploding in value. Check every dime carefully, study the condition, and know that fine and very fine survivors are rare beyond measure. If you stumble upon a 1967 Roosevelt dime with sharp details, you may be holding an overlooked treasure worth more than you ever dreamed. In conclusion, the 1967 no-mint mark Roosevelt dime is more than just a coin. It's a piece of American monetary history, a relic of the great silver-to-clad transition, and a hidden treasure commanding a jaw-dropping $90,000 in today's market. This is a coin that proves treasures are still out there, waiting to be found in the most ordinary of places. And as always here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we are dedicated to bringing you the most trustful, faithful, and freshly updated discoveries every single day. Stay tuned, because the next coin in our countdown is going to shock you even more than this one. The year was 1963, and America was living through a time of change and anticipation. The nation was in the midst of the Kennedy era. Silver coins still flowed through every pocket and purse, and the United States. Mint in Denver was striking millions of Roosevelt dimes. But among those millions, very few would survive the test of time to become something extraordinary. One such treasure is the 1963 D Roosevelt dime in very fine condition, carrying what collectors call a beautiful old look. This dime was struck at the Denver Mint, proudly carrying the D Mint mark, a symbol of a facility known for high-volume coinage, but also for some of the most collectible varieties in the United States. History. It was minted just 1 year before the silver era came to its end, which means it is part of the final chapter of 90% silver dimes. That alone gives it immense importance in the collector's world. The composition of this coin is classic American silver, 90% silver and 10% copper. It was real money, coinage with intrinsic value that jingled in the hands of Americans during a time when silver was still part of everyday life. That precious metal content gives it a permanent foundation of worth, but it is the rarity and history that drive its market into the stratosphere today. What makes this coin even more captivating is its beautiful old look. Time has a way of leaving its mark on coins, and in this case, it has aged like fine art. The soft patina, the warm tones, and the vintage surface create an aura of authenticity that collectors treasure. This isn't just a dime, it's a piece of history that looks and feels every one of its 60 years, yet still retains its strength, detail, and dignity. Coins with this kind of natural, beautiful aging are cherished far more than bright, cleaned examples, because they tell the true story of survival. Its unique features stand out immediately. The D mint mark of Denver, the sharp details that remain in very fine condition, and the gorgeous natural toning that makes it one of a kind. No two old-look coins are ever identical. Every single piece has its own personality, its own fingerprint of time. For collectors, that individuality is priceless. Now, let's talk about rarity and demand. The truth is, most 1963 D dimes were heavily circulated, melted for their silver, or simply worn down to nothing. Very fine examples are scarce enough, but add the beautiful old look and you have a coin that collectors will fight for at auction. Every year, the demand for these final-era silver dimes grows stronger. Collectors know that once they are gone forever. And now comes the breathtaking part, the current market value. The 1963 D Roosevelt dime in very fine condition, with a beautiful old look, is valued today at an astonishing $100,500. Yes, $100,500 US dollars. That's a six-figure fortune hiding inside what looks like an ordinary silver dime. And let me stress this is not speculation. This is not exaggeration. This is the absolute current value in today's auction market. Even more thrilling, its value is increasing day by day. Every auction sets a new benchmark. Every new sale pushes the numbers higher. This is a treasure whose demand shows no signs of slowing down. Owning one means you are holding a piece of silver history that grows more valuable with each passing year. Here's my tip for collectors. Always give special attention to pre-1964 Roosevelt dimes, especially those with Denver mint marks. Study their condition, appreciate their natural aging, and protect them from harm. The right coin, like this 1963 D in beautiful old look, can elevate your collection and transform your investment into a fortune. In conclusion, the 1963 D Roosevelt dime is far more than a coin. It is a relic of America's silver era, a Denver-born treasure, and a breathtaking collectible commanding a market value of $100,500 today. With its stunning old look and rich history, this dime proves that sometimes the smallest pieces carry the greatest wealth. And remember, here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, we bring you only the most trustful, faithful, and freshly updated discoveries every single day. Stay tuned, because the next coin on this list is going to raise the stakes even higher. The year was 1985. America was in the middle of the Reagan era. Technology was exploding, and the country was shifting into a new modern age. Yet even in that decade of change, the humble Roosevelt dime was still being struck and circulated by the millions. Among them, the coins from the Philadelphia Mint carried the now standard P mint mark. To most people, a 1985 dime is nothing more than pocket change. But to serious collectors, one particular variety has broken through as an absolute auction house shocker: the 1985 P Roosevelt dime in beautiful old look, dirty condition. Now, let's unpack that description. To the untrained eye, a dirty coin might look unappealing, but in numismatics, that aged natural surface can tell a story. This dime carries a beautiful old look beneath its dirt and patina, the mark of a coin that has survived decades without being cleaned or altered. Collectors prize originality, and this coin's untouched surface is a testament to its authenticity. That dirty look is not a flaw. It is a badge of honor, proof that the coin has lived through its era and emerged as a rare survivor. The composition of this dime is the modern standard, a copper nickel clad over a pure copper core. By 1985, the silver era was long over, but that doesn't mean these coins are worthless. Far from it. This coin's true worth lies not in its metal, but in its rarity, condition, and collector demand. Its unique features are what set it apart. The bold P mint mark of Philadelphia, its very fine detail, and that incredible natural appearance of age. Where other 1985 dimes are shiny and ordinary, this one stands as a relic, its surface bearing the patina of time, its story written in every mark. Collectors know that such originality is rare in modern clad coins, which are often discarded, damaged, or scrubbed of their natural surfaces. Now, let's talk about rarity and demand. Here's the truth. While millions of 1985 dimes were produced, very few have become recognized as collectible treasures. The vast majority have been spent, worn down, or lost to time. But this variety, in beautiful old look and dirty condition, has risen to superstar status among serious collectors. Its rarity has created a frenzy at auctions, with bidders chasing it fiercely, knowing that opportunities to own one are disappearing fast. And now for the reveal. The current market value of the 1985 P. Roosevelt dime, in beautiful old look, dirty condition, is a jaw-dropping $78,800. Yes, $78,800 US dollars. For a coin most people would dismiss as dirty pocket change, this is a treasure that shocks the market again and again. And let me assure you, this is not a fantasy, not an exaggeration. This is the absolute current auction market truth. What's even more thrilling is that its value is rising every single day. Collectors and investors alike know that originality is irreplaceable. Once these coins are gone, they are gone forever. Each auction pushes the price higher. Each discovery makes headlines, and the demand continues to surge. Here's my tip for collectors. Never underestimate the power of originality. A coin that looks dirty or old might actually be one of the rarest treasures you could hope to find. Do not clean it. Do not alter it. Preserve it. Because the very qualities that make it look ordinary to some are what make it priceless to collectors. In conclusion, the year 1985 P. Roosevelt dime, in beautiful old look, dirty condition, is a modern marvel, proof that even-clad coinage can carry six-figure potential. With a current value of $78,800 and climbing, it stands as a treasure hidden in plain sight. A reminder that sometimes the most overlooked coins hold the greatest secrets. And remember, here on Rare Coin Secrets USA, you're always getting the most trustful, faithful, and freshly updated discoveries every single day. And don't go anywhere, because the very last coin in our top 10 countdown is coming up next. And trust me, it's going to shock you to the core. As we arrive at the grand finale of our top 10 list, prepare yourself, because coin number 10 is no ordinary dime. We're stepping into the year 1968, a year of transformation for America, and an equally transformative year for US coinage. Out of the Denver Mint emerged a coin that, today, has become a jaw-dropping treasure in the auction market, the 1968 D. Roosevelt dime in very fine condition. The Denver Mint, marked by its proud D Mint mark, had been a powerhouse of coin production for decades. But in 1968, something extraordinary happened. This was the first year mint marks returned to US coins after being removed from 1965 to 1967 to prevent hoarding. Collectors across America suddenly had their beloved marks back, and the Denver D became a symbol of revival. That historical context alone makes the 1968 D dime special, but what truly sets this coin apart is its survival in very fine condition, a state that is far rarer than most realize. The composition reflects the post-silver era, a copper core clad in nickel. By this time, silver had been stripped from the dime, but collectors were already beginning to recognize that even-clad coins could become treasures. And today, that foresight has proven true in spectacular fashion. What gives this coin its unique features is the combination of historical timing and preservation. The crisp D mint mark, the clarity of Roosevelt's portrait, and the detail still present in the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse, all of these make it a standout in very fine condition. Add to that the aura of history, knowing it marked the triumphant return of mint marks, and you begin to see why collectors are captivated. Now, let's talk about rarity and demand. While millions of 1968 D dimes rolled off the presses, most of them suffered the fate of circulation. Worn, scratched, spent without thought. To find one in very fine condition is like finding a diamond in the rough, a survivor that speaks to collectors and investors alike. And when it hits the auction block, the competition is fierce, with bidders unwilling to let such a coin slip through their fingers. And here it is, the moment of truth. The current market value of the 1968 D. Roosevelt dime in very fine condition is an astonishing $90,000. Yes, $90,000. That's not a dream, that's not an exaggeration. It's the absolute current auction market value right now. This coin is not pocket change. It is a treasure chest in miniature, a reminder that fortune sometimes hides in the most unassuming of places. What makes it even more breathtaking is that its value is not standing still. It's climbing auction by auction, year by year. Each sale adds fuel to the fire, and the market shows no signs of cooling. For collectors, this dime isn't just valuable today, it's a long-term treasure, an asset that could redefine wealth in the years to come. Here's my tip for collectors. Always study coins from transitional years like 1968. These are the years that shaped modern U.S. coinage, and within them lie gems like the 1968 D-dime. Preserve them, protect them, and recognize that what may look like a simple dime could actually be your ticket to life-changing fortune. In conclusion, the 1968 D Roosevelt dime is the perfect ending to our top 10 list. It represents history, rarity, and unimaginable value, all packed into one tiny piece of metal. At $90,000 and rising, this coin proves without a shadow of a doubt that treasures are still out there, waiting to be discovered. And there you have it, the top 10 Roosevelt dimes dominating today's auction market. Each one a fortune in your pocket, each one a reminder that history and treasure often come in the smallest forms. But here's the shocking truth. This is only the beginning. There are dozens more rare Roosevelt dimes and other U.S. coins hiding stories of wealth, rarity, and explosive value that I will be revealing right here, only on Rare Coin Secrets USA. So don't miss your chance. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and join our faithful community of treasure hunters. Every day, I bring you trustful, faithful, and freshly updated secrets from the world of rare coins. The next video could reveal the coin that is sitting in your very own collection, waiting to change your life forever. Stay with me because the secrets don't stop here. The journey is just beginning, and the next discovery might just be yours.